The New York Knicks got their asses kicked by the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA in-season tournament, 146 to 122. And it has never been more apparent that the Knicks need to make a trade. If the Knicks continue to roll with this same roster for the remainder of the season, they will not accomplish anything. This team can't beat good teams. They can't play defense. They can't do anything against good teams. The New York Knicks in the season of 2023 are 2-8 versus teams with winning records. What does that tell me? You're better than the bad teams, but when you play a team that's got talent, you can't even compete. And it wasn't even a competition versus the Bucks in the second half. You gave up 146 points to the Milwaukee Bucks. You let them shoot 23 of 38. Sure, did the Bucks shoot the hell out of the basketball? Yes. But how many times was it open look after open look after open look after open look? You got your ass played off the court. Couldn't stop Giannis. It's a tough task, no doubt about it. But the dude absolutely dominated you. 35 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Damian Lillard absolutely dominated you. 28 points, 7 assists, 61.5% from 3. We said in the pregame show, as we went live for this game, if the Knicks' best 2 players don't play their best, they're going to get blown out. Whichever team's best 2 players played their best was going to win. Jalen Brunson let you down. RJ Barrett, Lord, oh Lord. You're never going to be a good team with RJ Barrett. You're never going to beat good teams in this league with RJ Barrett. Beauty Color says Ryan Fitzpatrick would do better than RJ Barrett. The bar's really low. The bar's low for RJ Barrett. It's year 5. Sure, he had 23 points, had 8 rebounds, but he was 7 of 18 and shot 38.9% for the field and 1 of 4 from 3. And you might say, Marshall, it's just one game. It's just one game. It's not. He has been legitimately one of the worst players in the NBA since he returned from the migraine issues. These were the 7 games prior to tonight's loss for the Milwaukee Bucks. RJ Barrett was shooting 34.4% from the field and 25% from 3. I've said it for 14 months. The Knicks will never be an elite team in the NBA with RJ Barrett. The Knicks must trade RJ Barrett if they ever want to be anything while Jalen Brunson is on this team. Let's just face what the Knicks are. They're a bad defender at the point guard position with RJ Barrett. They don't defend at power forward. What do you need your third option to be in the NBA? A good shooter and a good defender. RJ Barrett is neither. Your third option, who makes the most money on your team, cannot be a negative when it comes to shooting the basketball, a negative from a playmaking perspective, and a negative from a defensive perspective. And RJ Barrett is every single one of those. Until the Knicks move on from RJ Barrett and trade him, they will not be a serious team. You turn down a trade for Donovan Mitchell for RJ Barrett. That's an L. You turn down a trade for Paul George because of RJ Barrett. That is an L. Until the Knicks trade RJ Barrett, they will never be a winning team in this league. He is not a good enough player. He doesn't do anything good enough that a third option needs to do for you to compete with a top team in this league. It's year 5. It's year 5. You are who you are, RJ Barrett, and it's an inconsistent player. That is what you are. And the Knicks will never be good enough to compete with top teams in this league as you are on this roster. What was your biggest takeaway from the Knicks versus Bucks game? 146 fucking points. And it wasn't just RJ Barrett that played bad. Jalen Brunson was awful. We'll talk about Immanuel Quickley in a second. $25 million Immanuel Quickley? Hell no. Eric Drump, would it be better for the Knicks to tank than continuing in the pursuit or just a playoff? No, you can't tank. You can't tank. What are you going to do? You have one of the most expensive rosters in the NBA. You're paying RJ Barrett $25 million. You're paying Julius Randle $25 million. You're paying Jalen Brunson $25 million. You're paying Mitchell Robinson $15 million. $18 million for Josh Hart. $12 million for Dante DiVincenzo. There's no tanking. There's absolutely no tanking. You can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't tank. You have to find a way to get it done. And I believe that it starts with a trade. It starts with a trade. While we will get to more stats, and we'll talk about Immanuel Quickley coming up in a second, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Factor. I'm a huge fan of Factor, and if you live a busy lifestyle like I do, you got to get hooked up with Factor. Listen up. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all your holiday to-dos. When you're too busy running around to plan lunch, Factor has you covered. When you don't want to cook dinner, Factor has you covered. When you don't want to go to the grocery store, Factor has you covered. Head to factormeals.com/NicksChat50 and use code NicksChat50 to get 50% off. That's code NicksChat50 at factormeals.com/NicksChat50 to get 50% off. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. Once again, I want to make it apparent. Everyone was bad for the Knicks tonight, but I've seen enough. I saw it last year in the playoffs, and I've seen it enough this year. You will never win anything of substance in this league if Immanuel Quickley is your second best creator and shot taker off the bounce at the guard position. I think Immanuel Quickley is a good player. But how many times at big moments has he let you down? He was awful in the playoffs last year. Anytime there's a little hand check, anytime there's a little pressure, anytime it's a playoff atmosphere, Immanuel Quickley lets you down. You want $25 million? $25 million! You scored 7 points in a do-or-die game! I'm over it. I'm over it with Immanuel Quickley. I'm over it with R.J. Barrett. And I'm especially over it with Quentin Grimes. Mitchell Robinson, he's been excellent this year. He didn't play good tonight. Nobody played good. Gave up 146 points. The dude's out there for cardio, man. The dude's out there for cardio. Package Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and some of the 10 first-round picks you could trade and get a difference maker. You could have had Donovan Mitchell. You didn't do it. You could have had Paul George. You didn't do it. You could have had Drew Holiday. You didn't do it. You could have traded for Kyrie Irving. I didn't even want him. You didn't do it. How many superstars are we going to pass on? Just so Quentin Grimes won't score. Just so R.J. Barrett could shoot 30%. And Immanuel Quickley no-shows in a big game. You don't win games in this league with good role players and no star players. I can't even say he's a good role player. What the fuck was the playoffs last year? What the hell is this? He couldn't guard anyone. I'm over it. I'm over it. Leon Rose, you're on the clock. You're on the clock, my man. You get an all-time performance from Julius Randle from the field on offense. He was incredible. Jalen Brunson didn't play great either. But at the end of the day, he still gave you 24 and 6 on almost 50% from the field. Didn't make a three. Until you get some help for Jalen Brunson, until you get some help for Julius Randle, you will be a stuck-in-the-mud franchise. And your peak will be a second-round playoff exit. $13 points for Bobby Portis. 14 points for Chris Middleton. 9 points for Brook Lopez. 18 points for Malik Beasley. Fucking A.J. Green, who doesn't even have a picture in our database, had 9 points. Margarine Beauchamp, Butter Beauchamp, 6 points. Like, can we stop overrating our players? Please. It's not the end of the world. It's an in-season play-in game. It's a play-in tournament game in December. I understand that. But I just think it's one of those situations where you need to sit back and understand that your team is this. You're a team that's good enough to beat the bad teams. The Knicks have not lost a game this season to a team under 500. You can beat the bad teams. You're too in 8 versus teams over 500. $146 points, Tom Thibodeau. I'm not blaming it all on you, but you can't be a defensive coach who gives up 146 points. Because I'll tell you this much. Your offensive game planning is not good enough for you to be a bad defensive coach. Knicks need to look in the mirror, and they need to do some self-evaluation and find out who the hell they are. Because right now they have no identity. None. Get RJ Barrett off my basketball team. All you guys were drooling over what he did in October. He's been terrible for 8 games. He is who he is. We'll be back tomorrow with another video on the channel. No matter if the Knicks win, lose, or draw, we're going to continue to put out content every single day. So sub for free Knicks content every day.